Peace can feel very boring, but it's so worth it. Hey y'all, it's Kiki. Welcome back to my channel. I titled this to catch eyes on purpose, but I really meant what I said in the title. Boring may be the new excitement. Anyways, I really want to definitely elaborate, because I don't want somebody to be like, girl, boring and excitement. It's literally the opposite. Like, it's like a contradiction. I want to speak from my perspective, of course, as always. I'm never not going to speak from my perspective. But I learned, for me, like, or I guess right now, I find myself always feeling bored. I'm always like, girl, I'm bored. I ain't find me something to do. I'm bored. It's boring, blah, blah, blah. And I had to sit back and realize the life that I came from. Not the life that I came from like I'm Mufasa. Girl, I ain't leave my pride, child. But, well, no, I lied. I did leave my pride. But I didn't get away from, I walked away. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. When you go from people in situations that are always triggering a feeling of excitement, or it always has your like adrenaline, that's a big word for Elmo, adrenaline rushing, or you just always feel like you're on the edge of your seat. When you go from that to not necessarily dealing with that every day or dealing with that at all, it may feel a bit boring. But I wanted to let it be known that a person like me, I somewhat started mistaking anxiety for excitement, because for me, they feel the same. Well, at that time, for me, they felt the same. So the things that were causing my heart to go pitter-patter, and the thing that was making my stomach drop and all this good stuff, not good stuff, but you know what comes with being anxious, I would somewhat attach that, or I would, what's the word I'm looking for? I just would attach those things to anxiety. I would identify, not anxiety, but excitement. I would identify those things as excitement. So it's like sometimes anxiety and excitement can feel the same, so much so that like they can become intertwined, and it can become difficult for me to tell them apart. And that was not a fun thing for me. Growing up, I would always hear how boring I was. I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm coming right at the gate with it. I always heard how boring I was, because I have to be honest, I never was one who liked to party a lot or like to go out a lot. I didn't like to do like the sneaky things. Like, you know how the people in high school and middle school, they like to sneak out and like go to the boys' houses and things like that. I never really wanted to do things like that. And so a lot of the times my friends, my family will call me boring, because I didn't really want to do those things. But when I would hear those things, I would associate boring with bad or negative. You know, something that I just really did not want to be. As I got older, I was like, okay, I don't want to ever hear somebody say that I'm boring ever again. Like, I do not want to hear that. I would hear that from, like I said, friends, family. I would hear that from guys who wanted to date me and things like that. Like, I guess I just was a boring person. I guess I'm boring, child. But so I would just always hear that I was boring, right? And I would always associate the word boring with bad things. So as I got older, especially like in my late teens, I would always say, okay, the last thing I want to be called is boring. So even if this thing doesn't align with me, even if I don't necessarily want to do this thing, I'm going to do it, because the last thing I want to hear is somebody tell me that I am boring, right? So I went from not really wanting to do all of those things like party, sneak out, go to the boys' house and things like that. I turned into the person who was doing those things. Mind you, I'm not going to sit here and say that partying was never fun, but I was never one to just party or be able to party back to back to back. I was not that girl. It was like, if I partied on a Saturday in March, you probably won't see me again until another Saturday in August. Like, I was always that girl. So, but I found myself being like, okay, no, like I need to start doing the exciting things, because I don't want to lose my friends. I don't want to lose a guy's interest You know, I don't want to hear my family sitting around talking about me. So I'm like, let me just do the things so they can shut up and stop calling me boring. But those exciting things, girl, my anxiety was on 10 with those things. And I didn't really realize that it was somewhat almost like my intuition or my gut telling me that these are not the things I need to be like partaking in. But I was so caught up in how I wanted to be seen, I wasn't listening to my body, and my gut, I guess you could say. Eventually, some of the things were exciting. Like, you know, you go out with your friends, you go to a party, you go to the club, they playing the good music, the vibes is right, the drinks are flowing, whatever, you feel great. Don't embarrass me. Whatever you feel, you know, you're feeling good. But then eventually, I feel like the lines started to blur, and the rush that I would get from feeling excited, I would also get it when I was feeling anxious, but I didn't know the difference between the two because I would feel the same rush. Or I would just try to force myself to have a good time because I didn't want to ruin it for anybody else. And like I said, I didn't want to hear that B word. You better watch those B words.
Watch those B words, ladies. You better watch those when you end up over in the ocean.
But now that I'm older and I've made it my mission to find peace and to build a life that looks like peace and feels like peace for me, I realized that, yeah, I might be boring, but boring works for me, and I'm okay with that. Boring works for me, and I am very secure in that. I'm okay with that. Like I said, anxiety and excitement started to feel very synonymous for me. The excitement started turning into anxiety when I started doing things like overthinking, being very critical of myself, very judgmental of myself, and being hyper aware. So like I've said this in past videos, and I'm a believer that it's important, like self-awareness is important, but I feel like when you're too aware, it can really be not be like a fun time. It can be a bit detrimental because not only are you, when you're hyper aware, not only are you aware of yourself, but you're aware of everyone else. And sometimes I will pick up on things, sometimes I will pick up on things that had absolutely nothing to do with me, but I will still make it about me because my anxiety, which I didn't know at the time was my anxiety would cause me to feel like, oh, this person made that face because you said this or you did this, or this person doesn't want to hang out with you anymore because you're not vibing the way they feel like they need to be vibing, or this person is really annoyed with you because you don't want to take any more shots, or you don't want to, engage in anything else. And then, when you would go out, I don't know, I'm sure everybody has like dealt with this, but sometimes when you are having a really, really good time and you're not surrounded by the right people, which also plays a part in why I feel like I was mixing up my excitement with my anxiety. So, you know how like sometimes when you're having a really, really good time and you might be, singing loud or talking loud, and you always got that person who's like, why are you talking so loud? Or why are you doing too much? Like, why are you being extra? And that person always kill a vibe. But then you start to, let me just start, me personally, I start to look within myself and I'm like, damn, maybe I am being too loud. Like, maybe I am doing too much. Maybe I do need to sit down, blah, blah, blah. And then I started thinking, okay, well, do I need to put a cap on how much fun I'm having? Because at first I was having no fun. Now I'm hanging out with these people and they tell me I'm having too much damn fun. So which one is it? Like, am I not allowed to bitch have a good time, or do I need to act and react in a way that you would like me to? Of course I'm realizing this now, but at the time that's not what was going on in my head. I'm literally thinking, oh, I'm the problem, let me sit down, let me shut up so I don't ruin anybody else's day. I also wanted to speak about a certain situation that I dealt with as a teenager, a relationship situation. Trigger warning: butterflies. I noticed you hear people talk about butterflies all the time, and lately I've been hearing people say that butterflies are a form of anxiety. And I didn't think that at first, but looking back on these two relationships and me comparing them, I think butterflies are 100% anxiety, and I'm going to explain to y'all why I think that. So I dated a guy when I was a teenager, And whenever I would speak to him, whenever I would see him, I always got this feeling in my stomach. I always got like this gut feeling. And it didn't necessarily feel bad or good, but I would always associate that feeling with him. So whenever I felt it, I felt some sort of like connection to him in a way. Or I felt like I was connected to him, because whenever I would deal with him specifically, I would get that feeling. And we now know those are butterflies. But I noticed that when I was dealing with this guy and I was in a relationship with this guy, I would always feel like I was sitting on the edge of my seat, like waiting for what was going to happen next. I was always overthinking, always worrying, always like thinking about, okay, like, is he still going to like me tomorrow? Like, I'm unsure, I'm uncertain. Like, I just would always feel like I'm like literally like rocking on the edge of my seat, like, okay, like what's next? And I thought that because I was feeling those things, that was the guy that I was supposed to be with, because it was somewhat keeping me on my toes. A few years later, I dated another guy, and I didn't get any sort of like butterflies with him. He was a very calm guy. He was a very just like cool, collected guy. Not necessarily nonchalant. He was very chalant, child. He was very chalant up and down. But I didn't feel uncertainty with him. I was also like 18 when I dated him, so I was still very young. But from dating the butterflies guy to dating the calm guy, I felt like I didn't belong with the calm guy. I'm young thinking that. I felt like I didn't belong with the calm guy because it was almost too much certainty. If you get what I'm saying, like it wasn't enough excitement, I felt like. But I have to say that in certain situations, and it's especially in those situations, like constant excitement ain't always a good thing. Constant anxiety ain't always a good thing. So compared to the calm guy, I wasn't feeling like I was sitting on my seat. In fact, I was comfortably in my seat, because I knew, I can't say that he was predictable, but I knew what to expect. Like I knew that he was always going to let me know how he felt about me. I knew that I was always going to get gifts, not knowing exactly what gifts, but I always knew that he was going to buy me something. I always knew he was going to take me out on a date. I always knew what was going to happen. Whereas the butterflies guy, I had to guess if we were going to be able to go out. I had to guess if he was going to get me anything. I had to guess if he was even going to like tell me if he cared about me or liked me, give me a compliment, whatever. And saying that out loud, you would think, well, girl, duh, like you supposed to go with the calm guy, not the butterflies guy. But I was young, girl, and I thought the butterflies meant this is who I'm supposed to be with, and I'm supposed to chase. And then I date the calm guy, and I'm like, no, that's not the guy I'm supposed to be with, because he's not exciting. He's not giving me the feeling that I feel like I need. But now I know that for me personally, calm is, I need the calm. I need the peace. I need to be able to sit and think and not have to worry. And so that's why I say, when you think about something like that, when you are in a healthy relationship, when you go from being in a toxic relationship to being in a healthy relationship, it will feel boring. As crazy as it sounds, it will feel boring, because it's like, we just sitting here watching TV. Like, we're just sitting here. It's like when you go from toxicity to calm, to peace, you feel like it's boring because you are so used to toxicity. And that was my situation. I was so used to toxicity. Not only that, but I didn't really have a perfect example, or not perfect, but a healthy example of what a relationship should look like. So I had never saw calm relationships. I thought that means, oh, we don't really like each other because we're not at each other's throat. We must really care because we constantly on edge, constantly stressed out, constantly like, almost like on a teeter-totter and trying to wait to see what's going to happen. Now that I'm older and I'm, I've aged, child, I appreciate a good, calm situation. I appreciate a calm friendship. I appreciate a calm relationship. I appreciate just calm situations. I don't really want situations that's going to stress me out. Now, don't get me wrong. Life is life. You're not always every day is not going to be a calm moment. But I'm saying things that I can control. I can control who I'm with. I can control who I'm around. I can control who I let in my space. And when it comes to the people who are in my space, I don't need anxiety. I don't need to be worried about if you my friend or not. I don't need to be worried about if I was talking too much, or if I can't say what's really on my mind, if I feel like I need to walk on eggshells. I don't need to worry about that. I need to be certain. I need to be sure. I need to be comfortable and secure in knowing that no matter what's happening in this relationship, we're good. Because ain't no stress over here, ain't no worry, we're good. I'm aware that peace can feel boring. Especially when you are used to always having to be on guard and always having to prepare for a fight or an argument. And you never really know how your days are going to go. You never know if it's going to be a quiet day or a loud day, or if it's going to be a peaceful day or a day to fight. When you finally separate yourself from those environments and those people, and you are able to, construct your own life and invite the people who you want into your life and go and to be in the environments that you actually want to be in, peace can feel very boring. But it's so worth it, because I would much rather have a peace of mind and nobody around me than 15,000 friends and I'm constantly like. But I feel like calm moments and people who just bring a sense of, I guess you could say a sense of serenity, they can also bring you or provide you fulfillment without it being an emotional roller coaster. And I don't know what it is that has people, me included, thinking that in order to be worthy of something like a healthy relationship, you have to go through the struggle. Or like a healthy friendship, you have to struggle and you have to have like the constant ups and downs and a constant back and forth. I don't know what the hell got us thinking that, but I have to say that the quote unquote boring people and the boring environments and the boring places can bring you the same amount of fulfillment. Not even the same amount of fulfillment, because what the hell fulfillment are you getting in a toxic relationship, child, please? But I'm saying they can provide you fulfillment without constantly being in a state of chaos. It's not about the lack of stimulation. It's about the lack of chaos. You can still, feel stimulated, but you don't need chaos to be fulfilled. You don't need chaos to feel like, okay, I had fun today. Okay, I feel loved. Okay, I feel appreciated. You don't need chaos to do that. But some people believe that you do. And I am here to tell you, you do not. You do not need chaos to have a good time. You don't need chaos to have good people. I wanted to speak about that because I'm learning to embrace my peace, which is not my peace, but my boring, which is just peace. But it takes getting used to when you are accustomed to the opposite way of living. When you're accustomed to chaos, it takes a while to adjust to peace, because sometimes you are expecting somebody to bust in and you like, I ain't arguing with nobody in months. And then you like, when it's gonna happen? When it's gonna happen? It's not. It's not gonna happen, babe. It's not gonna happen. And don't you go looking for it. And don't you go causing it. Okay? You stay in your peace. You stay in your boring. And you keep at it, because that's what I plan on doing. I wanted to talk because, like, for instance, today I actually went on a friend date. I think I said this already, but I went on a friend date and it was so much fun. It was so fun. And I didn't feel anxiety. I didn't feel nervous. I felt cool. Like, I was cool, calm, collected. And we ate. We had some real good food, child. And then we went to an escape room and it was so fun. And I was like, no, that feels good. Like, it feels good to be out with my friend and ain't no drama. Ain't no unnecessary gossip. Ain't no just unnecessary stuff just to say we bond with each other. Like, we're bonding over the fact that we want better for ourselves. And because we want better for ourselves, we know how to treat each other and we know how to treat the people around us who we care about. that being said, y'all, I feel like I used to chase excitement because I was somewhat addicted to chaos, not even knowing that I was addicted to chaos because I was so used to it. Because don't embarrass me, okay? You know what, fuck, whatever. But because that's pretty much all I knew at the time. But I didn't realize that the excitement that I was chasing was just anxiety in disguise. Once I was able to identify it, I was able to feel in my body what felt right for me and what didn't. And if I'm constantly shaking, y'all know what anxiety feel like. But if you feeling paranoid, feeling fearful, it's probably not for you. And if you're feeling certain and you're feeling sure and you feel secure and you're comfortable, it may just be for you. So I'm learning to embrace my boring. I'm learning to embrace that part of myself that I fought so hard not to be. I'm learning to embrace that part of myself. I'm learning to embrace my peace. I'm learning to embrace all those things that people try so hard to get me not to be. I'm trying to embrace all of those things. And yeah, life is great. Life is good. What's tea? But yeah, that's really all I have to say for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful, or I hope it was relatable, most of all. But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye, y'all.